Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sewagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are the Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Good morning, Uganda, and welcome to this edition of the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Karuhanga, Edgar Mathew, and you're tuning in right here on Digitalk TV for another insightful episode of the Mighty Drive Show. We air every Monday to Friday, starting from 8 to 10 a.m. We have non-stop information where we give you adequate information that we believe will help you make an informed decision at the end of the day. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. I'm always here with you every particular weekday. And of course, we have a commitment to break down having a conversation with this country. And we believe that everything we say here shall maybe sustainably create an impact that is going to change this country, not for only today, but also for the generations to come. If you are tuning in for the very first time, this is not the only program that we have. We have various programs that we host at various times in various days. Now, starting on, as I told you, every weekday, we have a morning show, which is the Mighty Drive Show, airs from 8 to 10 a.m. Then on Tuesday, Twins at Bar, 11 a.m. Then the Afro-Caribbean Link returns on Wednesday, that is in the evening. And of course, the Voltage Show, a youthful panel, and of course, discussions among the youth, especially in Uganda, on how we can change the political direction of Uganda. That is the Voltage Show every evening, hosted by one Lillian Mumbeja Luede. Then on Friday, we return with Dr. Kiza Besije in the Interface Show that airs every Friday from 12 to 2 p.m. Unfortunately, for now, the interface is on a hold as Dr. Kiza Besije is still incarcerated in, Luzira Maximum Prison. Then on Saturday, the ladies return with what they call the Snap Talk, and a show that mainly talks about some of the current affairs, especially in family, and of course, devising means for how life can be better, starting from the smallest unit of society, which is a family. So that is a Snap Talk every Saturday at 6 p.m. We're always right here. And of course, we are programming for you better and of course adequate information that will help you be able to make an informed decision at the end of the day. So today I have a gentleman called Ian Gumisi Jeremiah. Now, Jeremiah is the Principal Communications Officer for the National Secretariat for Patriotic Corps that is in the State House. Now, these people have made it a goal for themselves to mainly try to advocate for patriotism in the country, something that you believe has been falling over time. The patriotism of various Ugandans, especially the young people, has been going down. So we look at what does this mean and how best can their patriotism be improved in the country. And of course, where are we as a people, according to these people who have been empowering young people to just be able to love their country more and, be in tune with the vision of their country? How far have they worked as a people, and of course how best can this be addressed? So today I'm going to be asking a couple of questions to Mr. Gumisiriza, who will be joining me in just a few minutes from now. Now what you can do is just send us a message question on that topic or discussion of the day to ask us what do you really need to know. We shall be able to pass on the questions to the people who are relevant, especially Mr. Gumisiriza and his team. At just 14 minutes past the top of the hour, allow me just go through some of the news stories that are trending this morning, especially from the various news tabloids as we are receiving information today. So in case you want to get yourself a daily monitor, you are going to be having a couple of stories right there. There is the ascension of Donald Trump to the helm of presidency for the United States. So Donald Trump returns, as we all know right about now. That Donald Trump is now president of the Republic of the USA, and in one of his first declarations as the president is the reinstatement or the restoration of TikTok, and a popular application that has been used by various people, especially across the world. Now in the US, in fact that was last week, the US government passed to ban TikTok activities or TikTok as an app in the United States of America, citing some cases of threats to national security. Now Donald Trump, after taking oath or after becoming president of the United States of America, he has confirmed that TikTok should not be banned and should be reinstated as soon as possible. Now in other news stories, you can see there is a foiled robbery or execution. You shall see about that story. Remember last week there was what they dubbed a foiled operation that involved a few members who were killed in Kamocha along the Acacia Avenue. Now these gentlemen, according to the Uganda Police Force, were trying to extort or to steal some money from some client who had withdrew money from the Stanbic Bank, that is the Kamocha branch. Now on arresting these so-called thieves, the police was really brutal, and they killed 6 of them in cold blood or right on spot. Now something that mesmerizes, or the uniqueness about this, is that the onlookers or the witnesses say that the Uganda police killed these people when first they were unarmed, and it felt like they were not really resisting arrest in any way. Now that brings a question to what really transpired on that fateful day. What exactly was it behind? Were they thieves? Was this an operation? Was this a humanitarian cause, or really can we say that some of the human rights of Ugandans were affected in that regard? So that is one of the stories, as Daily Monitor brings you the faces of some of those individuals. Remember, the police force says that there are still some of their colleagues who are still at large, and of course the police is trying their level best to try to get them in that particular regard. Then still on Daily Monitor, US President Trump promised to give TikTok a 90-day reprieve from the potential ban of the US. I have already talked about that. Then in other stories, they talk about Tanzania confirms outbreak of Marburg virus. Yes, this is also another epidemic that is disturbing Africa, especially in parts of Tanzania. You can be able to just check Daily Monitor right there to confirm the story of Marburg virus that has broken out in Tanzania. Now that reminds me of the monkeypox cases that are continuing to surge or to soar in the country here, Uganda. And of course the Ministry of Health, in conjunction with the Uganda People's Defense Forces, have been at the helm of fighting monkeypox. And of course some cases have been recorded right here in the capital of Uganda, Kampala. So we hope that you keep on being vigilant to be able to protect yourself from such things. Now at 19 minutes past the top of the hour, you're still watching the Mighty Drive Show on this 21st day of January The year is 2025. I just want to remind you that we are in a new year. And if you're just joining us, today we are having a gentleman who is the Principal Communications Officer for the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps, that is a branch based in the State House. So he's going to be telling us what are some of the impacts or effects of the patriotism courses that have been carried out over time in Uganda. Then in other stories, according to the schedule, the PLE results, the PLE students who sat for the PLE, that was the primary leaving examinations, shall be returning to school on the 10th of February, that is next month. So if you have any student in trying to access higher level education, it is pertinent that on the 10th of February they'll be returning back to school to commence their first term in secondary school. Then top Ruchiga bosses clash over gaps in service delivery. You can go and read what is happening in Ruchiga district, as there are some confusions that are in that part of the country. Then just neighboring Ruchiga district reminds me of Konjiri about a controversy that is still running down there amidst some two political leaders. So a lot of controversies in rural Uganda. Then ministry illegally issuing sugar mill licenses. Court rules on that story. So if you are dealing in sugar, especially sugarcane growers and of course processors, there is a story right there. Then there's a man arrested over raping a 90-year-old woman. That is in Kamuli district. You can be able to read about this gentleman who unfortunately raped a 90-year-old woman. Then a story of Immaculate Babidie, who foresaw her parents' financial struggles and looked for jobs to support her education journey. Go read about her. She tells her story in what really transpired right there. Maybe I'll just check on lastly the new vision to confirm what the government newspaper has got for us this morning before we welcome our guest for the day. I told you that today we have Mr. Ian Gumisiriza Jeremiah, who is the Principal Accounting Officer for the National Patriotism Corps, National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps, that is a base that is in State House. The new vision has, of course, Trump. What Uganda expects, that is the headline. Everybody's talking about Trump, who is going to be reinstated or who is coming back in power in what they call a historical comeback. Nobody has seen that in the recent past. Then there is a story here of Father Chibi, who calls for youth participation, especially in church work. He urges parents to encourage young people to take part in things like that, or in church activities right there. Then the ex-member of Parliament Komuhangi served with dignity. That is Thomas Tayewa talking about the ex-member of Parliament Komuhangi, who passed on earlier last week. Then fishermen in Buvuma Islands have been issued restrictions prohibiting the storage and sale of petroleum products within residential areas. This is not only really about the people of the fishermen of Buvuma. No, even generally this is not allowed these days, according to the new pronouncements that were made by President. That was last year, if you can remember. It's not allowed to have large volumes of petroleum products. In fact, these days, if you go to a petrol station, you're not even allowed to take fuel in jerry cans. So that is something that is not new to the country. It has been here. Then residents flock to register for the Electoral Commission or check their registers. Remember, I told you yesterday that the checking of the electoral register has commenced in Uganda, especially in all parts of the country. So what you can do is just go to any polling station, or your polling station, by the way, or where you vote from, and be able to check through those lists to confirm if you are eligible to vote come next year in January when Uganda goes for the polls. So that is something that is in the pipeline. So residents flock to register. That is as the Electoral Commission launches TESO exercise. Go check In fact, some of this, the information, the news that we are getting is that some of the people yesterday went to their polling stations, but were not able to find those lists ready, and they were promised that they will be ready today. So we hope that the Electoral Commission is working on that. Then there is a fire that has gutted an apartment building in Soroti City, unfortunately. So the good thing is that nobody has died in this fire, but a lot of property has been destroyed by the fire. Then maybe lastly, they also talk about how Tanzania has confirmed Marburg as it's out, and of course FDC Katonga concerned over registration day. And just maybe to highlight lastly the concern that has been raised by the lawyers of Dr. Kizza Besigye, who are saying this gentleman is being treated in prison. He is also in another prison, and he's not allowed to access fellow inmates. He is not allowed to have face-to-face conversations. He is behind a glass bar, and he has to use a telephone booth to be able to talk to the people. And many have said that he has even started to be on a hunger strike, saying that he cannot eat the food that has been given to him, especially in prison, citing out some threats to his life. And this confirms, or this also comes at a time when the wife of Dr. Besigye came out to strongly say that Dr. Besigye wants to be killed, or someone wants to kill Dr. Besigye, and she was pertinent and really intentional about saying that Dr. Besigye's life is under threat. So if Dr. Besigye is on strike, a hunger strike, and of course these threats are coming in here and there, it is really sad for the democratic process of the country. And remember, for those who don't know, Dr. Besigye was abducted from Kenya, Nairobi last year, and whisked to Uganda and charged with various cases, one being possession of weapons, then mobilizing for resources to take power, take over government, and then the last amended charge that was put on that amended charge sheet was treachery. And of course, there is another gentleman from the Uganda People's Defense Forces, a soldier known as Captain Dennis Ola, who was also amended to be added to that particular charge sheet that Dr. Besigye is facing. So we wait to see next month how it will go. We have been there trying to give you everything as it unfolds. That's what we're going to do next month, as Dr. Kizza Besigye will be returning to the General Court Martial. Some of his lawyers have argued that it is unlawful for Dr. Besigye to be tried in such a court, and Dr. Besigye has even refused to commit to any of the cases that have been meted on him or opened up to him, that it feels like he is going to continue undergoing that. And still on the case of Dr. Kizza Besigye, one of his lawyers, if you do not know, was incarcerated and charged with contempt of court and remanded, in fact, for the next 9 months. He is going to be behind bars. He is in Kitale right now. That is Counsel Aaron Kizza, one of the lead counsels. And of course, the main issue that was brought upon him is that he had contempt of court, and of course he did not respect the court proceedings here and there. That is what is happening in Uganda for now. And of course, for those who NUP diehards or members, the principal, that is Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, returned yesterday after a trip that he has had in Dubai, following what he wanted to do, what he dubbed as meeting up with the diaspora members. We saw him linking up with them, and saw a bit of some music videos here and there, him singing for them. So he returned yesterday, and aboard flight was Kapere, one of his friends and close allies who traveled with him for that particular engagement. So that is it from the entire news team. I think this is what we can go with for now. But we take a break. I told you, today we're talking about patriotism and everything patriotism, and that's why we have Ian Gumisiriza Jeremiah, who is the Principal Communications Officer for the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps that is in the State House. We talk about the impact of these patriotic lessons, and is it really lessons or indoctrination? That and much more coming your way. Let's take a break right about now.